Good morning, dear student. Welcome to day 2 class. On today's class, we are going to see physical properties of matter. Before moving to today's class, there's a concept what we are going to learn on today's class. I want to give some short recall about early class. In early class, we seen about types of materials and what type of material used to manufacture an object, whether the material is natural or artificial. And finally, we saw about the term called grouping and classification, right? And I also show you with one good example what we did, what we don't want to do and what we want to do using that stationary example, right? How we want to grouping it particular materials and how we want to classify it, how we want to grouping it, that I show you in two pictures, right? Now we are going to see the other part of the unit and is the last part in this particular unit, physical properties of matter. Before moving to the topic, we want to know what is matter. In early class we read very clearly, right? A matter is a substance which have some mass and it can occupy some space. If you like to capture or if you like to keep in a box or something, it should have some mass and it should occupy some space, right? That is called matter. And we also know that three types of matter, three states of matter. One is solid, liquid and finally gas, right? These are the three states of matter we read in early class. Now we are going to see how the matters are classified. Anyway, it was classified as three types, but still we have some classification, is general classification. In science, how the matters are classified, classified as three types that we call solid, liquid and gas. But physical properties, appearance, right? How it look like and what are the possibility we can able to classify those things, that we are going to see in this today's class. Appearance of material is one of the type of physical property. Hardness or softness, roughness or smoothness, solubility. In that category we are going to see four things: soluble, insoluble, miscible, immiscible and soluble in gas. I just mentioned two, but I explained four types, four categories in this particular topic. In the explanation part we are going to see floating or sinking in water. This is nothing but buoyancy force we seen in an early class that I am going to explain. Then transparency, how it look like, whether it is visible or not visible, that we are going to see, okay, very clearly. First topic in this unit is appearance of material. So today's class is appearance of material. Luster is a shine of material. All metals in pure state are shiny and said to be luster, right? Said to possess luster, right? Now I am going to introduce a new term called luster. Luster, right? What's mean luster? It's nothing but a shine. It means that shine. The meaning of luster is shine. Pure metals, all metals in pure state are luster, give shiny states. Like I show two pictures here, right? One is a picture called a diamond, which can gives a shiny appearance. Another one is a wood. It doesn't give a shiny appearance, right? These two are good example for appearance of material. You can able to analyze whether the material is a metal or made up of some other is non-metal, like wood, plastics or non-metals, right? So non-metals are not luster. I mean, it should not give shiny appearance, whereas pure metals will give shiny appearance, such as gold, silver, copper, platinum, and even mercury is a liquid state metal. It also show you a shiny appearance. So metals give shiny appearance. Non-metals doesn't give shiny appearance. That is luster. The term called luster, right? So that is I explained. Materials like gold, silver, bronze have luster. That is a shiny appearance. That it gives a shiny appearance. That I explained by using this diagram also. The next topic, hardness and softness. You see two pictures here. One is a cotton, another one is a wood. A material which can be pressed or break easily are called soft material. For example, cotton. In this left hand side you can able to see the picture. While some other materials which cannot be pressed or break easily are called hard. Right? For example, cotton is soft while wood is hard. Right? Wood normally pencil you can able to break by your hands, but you just think are you able to break the bark of a tree? Is practically difficult. A root of a tree, sorry, a stem of a tree, right? It's practically difficult. So that's the thing. Here we can able to analyze hardness and softness. If the objects can easily break or press, right? That is called softness. If object we can't able to break it or press it or squash it, or even we can't able to push it. So those are come under the category called hardness. The next thing, smooth and rough surface. You can able to see two pictures. One is a copper bottle and a polished copper bottle, another one is a rock. Some materials feel smooth when touched. Example, mirror and things made of metal. Because copper is a metal which is here is a thermoflask, a copper thermoflask. It is made up of metal, so and it gives you smooth surface, smooth and shiny surface. Example, mirror and things made of metals. So this is metal. Whereas some other material feel rough when touched. Example, a piece of stone. Here I show you a piece of stone. It's very rough. While you touch, you can able to feel. So this is smooth and rough surface. Then is solubility. Soluble substance. Substance that can get dissolved in water are called soluble substance. Right? If it dissolve in water, that is called soluble substance. For example, mixing a sugar in a water. Here the mixing is happen. So if you mix the sugar in water, are you able to identify the sugar after mixing properly in a water? You can't, because we know that water is a universal solvent. Universal solvent. Water is a universal solvent. Now the important number please keep it in your mind. Which liquid is called universal solvent? Water is a universal solvent, right? It can able to solve or it can able to mix. It can accept most of the material and able to mix it if it is soluble, right? And here a substance that can get dissolved in water are called solid substance. Example, sugar mixed in water, salt mixed in water. We can't able to identify the sugar and salt in the water. We can able to taste it and we can feel it, but we can't able to identify it. Then insoluble substance which do not dissolve in water, it can able to we can't able to see the pure water. It dissolve, it will deposit after some time. It will sediment in the flask or a tumbler itself. For example, a mud mixed in water, right? We thought that the mud is purely mixed, but it changed the color of the water and finally it was sedimented. After some time it will sediment at the bottom of the beaker, which we have water in the particular beaker. If you mix the mud, you can able to see some mud will sedimented in the bottom of the beaker. So one of the good example, insoluble substance which do not dissolve in water are called insoluble substance. Example, a mud mixed in water. Next, miscible, immiscible. A liquid which mix well with water are said to be miscible, right? Example, milk mixed with a tea or a water mixed with the milk, or a milk mixed with the water, right? If you mix a milk in water, the water is a pure solvent and it can able to mix it. We can able to mix it. We can't able to identify water and milk. Once you mix a milk in water or water and milk, we can't able to identify. We can't able to separate milk and water through our naked eye. We have some process to separate a milk and water. Actually, that is called a miscible solution. Immiscible, those liquid which do not mix well with water are called immiscible. We know that oil is a substance which do not mix well. We can't able to mix it. If you pour some oil in water, what will happen? It doesn't mix. What are the process you can able to do? We can't able to mix oil and water. The oil, because the density, the weight, and sorry, what term, because you are not read about the term density, weight, you just think about the weight. The weight of oil is comparatively lower than water, so it will, what you call, it will float in the layer of water. Water having some more weight compared to oil. Actually, we call this in physics, we call this density, that we are going to see in next 4 coming years. But for understanding, I am telling you that in the term called weight, hence you know about the term weight. So, the weight of water is somewhat higher than oil. So, oil does not mix with water. That solution is called immiscible solution, that we read in early class itself, right? And solubility of gases. So, you know that water is it's not a, what's the chemical formula of water? H2O, hydrogen and oxygen. Mixing of hydrogen and oxygen is called water. It's a chemical formula. Not only water, even some gases like carbon dioxide also can able to mix with water. But oxygen is present in water, so only the aquarium animals like fishes can able to respire in water. Right. So, they clearly mention oxygen gas, which is dissolved in water, is very important for the survival of aquatic plants and animals. So, all the living beings need oxygen for respiration. So, this is explanation for this solubility of gases. Next thing, floating or sinking in water. Now, I am going to recall one term called buoyancy force. Buoyancy force or upthrust force is a force exerted by fluid that opposes the weight of a body, of a partially or fully immersed object. It's an upthrust force exerted by a fluid. Okay, it's an upthrust force exerted by a fluid to the object, whether it's partially or fully immersed in a liquid, in a fluid. Okay, so கீழே இருந்து ஒரு கொடுக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு ஃபோர்ஸ், மேலே கொடுக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு ஃபோர்ஸ், நீங்கள் தண்ணியில் குதிச்சோன்னு உடனே மூழ்க மாட்டீங்க. ரீசன் பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் த buoyancy force. I like to explain in Tamil because I want to know the concept very well. Then only you can able to understand the topic very clearly. Floating and sinking. Floating na மிதக்கிறது, sinking na மூழ்கிறது. ரெண்டுக்குமே reason buoyancy force. If the weight is very high, if the weight of the object is more, it will sink. If it is very low compared to the water, it will float. And if an object is having some design, like you may think about ship, and so many big ships are not able to sink. It doesn't sink because of, but it can able to float. But the weight of the ship is very large compared to the weight of the ship may have the weight, it is equal to the weight of 2 or 3 lorries. Maybe tons and tons of weight may able to carry by the ship, but it doesn't sink. Reason because of the design of the ship that you are going to see in next year. That is called a streamline shape, right? So, we will design and we make the particular ship to float, and we are also having some engine to move. But for floating purpose of floating, the concept is called streamline shaped, and we are calculating the area and force, because here the total terms related to the particular concept called pressure. So, these things you are going to see next year. So, I won't like to confuse you. Buoyancy force is the upthrust force, which given upthrust force given by the liquid to the object, whether it's partially or fully immersed. The second picture will clearly show you. See, one wood cork can float, and a pure egg can partially float. I mean, partially immersed, but it's not fully immersed. And a coin which will sink because of the weight of the coin is somewhat higher than the weight of the liquid, so it will sink totally. Right? Hence, you know that here we want to know. I like to explain one more thing. Floating egg is good egg or bad egg, that you want to find out. Okay, floating egg is a good egg or bad egg. Bad egg. Floating, the egg should not float, right? If it is float, the egg is very bad. It's not good for health. So, it's the last topic, that's called transparency. Here we have 3 categories. One is opaque. The material should not allow light to pass through them, are called opaque object, right? For example, wood, iron, gold should not allow light to pass through them. What happens if light is falls in a particular object? Human is a very good opaque object. See here what happened to the boy. it shows shadow, right? So opaque object can able to produce shadow, right? It should not allow light to pass through them. Next, transparent material should allow light to pass through them, are called transparent. See the a plastic or a glass which doesn't which allow light to pass through them, then we can able to see the other side of the glass, right? We can able to see the table. The color of table is brown in color because it's a transparent material which allow light to pass through them. For example, glass, water, air, test tube, these are all the good example for transparent material. Then finally, the last topic in this unit is translucent material. Material should allow light partially, which will allow light very partially, it means half, are called translucent material. For example, butter paper, old glass door. In early time, our windows are not purely transparent material. It's a translucent material. We should not allow the persons can able to see the inside, what are the things inside in our home, right? It's a partially it's a translucent material, so we should not allow all the light to pass inside our house, right? And they allow very partial light. And one more good example, it's very clearly shown in the picture, is the butter paper. So butter paper we should not show you a clear picture of the object which is present on the other side of the butter paper. So good example, you should not allow light, should allow light partially. That's called translucent. Very simple. Material should allow light partially. It's called translucent material. Example, butter paper and old glass door. Okay. And that's all about the content present in the chapter. Now we are going